Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. The less you care, the more he wants you. That might sound strange at first, but let me break it down for you. See, people always chase what they think they can't have. It's human nature. When you stop chasing, when you stop begging for attention, when you stop trying to prove your worth to somebody, suddenly you become valuable. And when a man feels like he might lose your attention, your energy, your presence, that's when he wakes up and starts wanting you more. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. Life has a way of teaching you lessons that you don't always want to learn, but you have to if you want to grow. One of the biggest lessons I've learned, and I've seen so many people struggle with, is this. When you stop chasing and start valuing yourself, people chase you. That's real talk. Too many of you out here are running yourself tired trying to prove your worth to somebody who doesn't even see your value. You bending over backward, giving all your time, all your energy, all your love, and at the end of the day, you sitting there feeling empty, wondering why they ain't giving you the same thing back. The truth is, as long as you're chasing, they got no reason to run toward you. They comfortable. They know you'll always be there, so they don't put in the effort. But the moment you pull back, the moment you say, wait a minute, I deserve better than this, that's when everything shifts. See, people don't value what's always begging for their attention. They value what's rare, what's hard to come by, what stands strong. You can be the kindest, most loving person in the world, but if you don't respect yourself enough to say, I'm worth being treated right, then you're teaching people how to mistreat you. The energy you put out is the energy you attract. If you put out the energy that says, I'll chase you, I'll settle for crumbs, I'll beg for your time, then don't be surprised when that's all you get. But the moment you shift that energy and start saying, I know who I am, I know what I bring to the table, I'm not begging nobody for love, respect, or attention, people feel that. That's when the same ones you were chasing start looking around saying, hold up, what changed? Why ain't she chasing me no more? That's when they start chasing you. You see, value attracts pursuit. Think about it. Nobody is running after something that's sitting out on every street corner free for the taking. But put a price tag on it. Put it behind a glass case. Put it where it requires effort and commitment to get it. Suddenly people start saying, that must be worth something. The same goes for you. When you start valuing yourself, you automatically raise the standard. You automatically make people realize they can't just play with your time or your emotions anymore. Now, let me be real with you. This ain't easy because we've been taught that love means sacrifice, that relationships mean compromise, and that's true. But it don't mean destroying yourself in the process. It don't mean lowering your standards just to keep somebody around. You can give love, but you got to give it from a place of strength, not desperation. And strength comes from knowing your worth. When you stop running after folks, you give them the chance to show you who really wants to be there. Because the ones who don't care, they'll fall off. The ones who truly see your value, they'll step up and chase you. Ladies and gentlemen, I've seen it over and over again. People begging to be loved, begging to be seen, begging to be chosen. And what happens? The more they beg, the less they get. But when they finally reach that breaking point, when they finally say enough is enough, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm choosing myself, that's when everything changes. That's when they start attracting people who match their energy, who respect their presence, who give the same effort they give, because the law of life is simple. When you stop chasing and start valuing yourself, people chase you. So let me leave you with this thought. Stop proving, stop begging, stop running after people who ain't running after you. Your energy, your time, your love, they are valuable. Carry yourself like you know that, because when you do, you won't have to chase anybody. They'll come looking for you. And when they do, you'll be ready to decide whether they deserve a seat at your table or not. There comes a time when you realize that the more you chase somebody, the more they start running from you. And the moment you stop chasing and start valuing yourself, something powerful happens. They begin to see you differently. It's almost like human nature flips. When you're constantly giving, constantly proving, constantly making yourself available, people get comfortable. They know you'll always be there, so they don't try as hard, they don't put in the effort, and they don't see your worth clearly. But the second you shift that energy, when you start saying, I don't need to beg for attention, I don't need to chase love, I don't need to fight for a place in someone's life, that's when they notice your absence. That's when they feel your value. The less you run after them, the more they find themselves running after you, because people are wired to desire what doesn't come too easy. And this all starts with how much you value yourself. When you treat yourself like you matter, when you decide that your energy and your time are too precious to be wasted on people who don't appreciate it, you change the whole game. Suddenly, you're not the one giving discounts on your worth. You're not the one accepting crumbs just to have somebody around. You become the one who sets the standard, and when you set the standard, people will either rise to meet it or fall off because they can't handle it. Either way, you win, because the wrong ones will leave and the right ones will recognize what they've got to do to keep you. Now let's talk about confidence and self-respect, because those two things are the ultimate attraction. You can be the most beautiful person in the room, but if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't carry yourself with respect, it doesn't matter. Confidence is not about arrogance. It's about walking into every situation knowing who you are and not apologizing for it. It's about saying, I deserve to be treated with love, I deserve respect, and I'm not settling for anything less. And when you carry that energy, people feel it before you even say a word. Self-respect is what keeps you from lowering your standards just to please somebody else. It's what tells you that no relationship, no friendship, no connection is worth losing yourself over. When you respect yourself, you don't chase after those who don't see your value. You don't beg for somebody to treat you right. You don't compromise your peace just to keep someone else comfortable. And ironically, that's the very thing that makes people want you more, because confidence is magnetic. It draws people in. It makes them want to be around you, not because you're trying to impress them, but because you're not trying at all. You're just being you, unapologetically. Think about it. The people you admire most, the ones who light up a room when they walk in, are they begging for attention? No. They're just standing there, sure of themselves, knowing their worth. That's what makes them so attractive. That's what makes others want to be around them. And the same is true for you. When you stop chasing and start valuing yourself, when you walk in confidence and self-respect, you create a presence that demands attention. People can't help but notice you, can't help but want to know you, can't help but want to be around you. The moment you stop giving all your power away and start living from a place of strength, everything changes. The people who once took you for granted begin to notice. The ones who overlooked you start paying attention. And the ones who never thought twice about losing you begin to realize just how much they need you. That's not because you changed who you are. And once you see your value, the world has no choice but to see it too. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that if you chase hard enough, give enough, sacrifice enough, you'll finally get the love and respect you deserve. But the truth is, when you stop chasing and start valuing yourself, everything changes. When you're always running after someone, giving them all your attention, all your energy, they have no reason to run toward you. They get comfortable knowing you'll always be there, and when people get too comfortable, they stop trying. The moment you pull back, the moment you recognize your worth and start living like you matter, that's when the shift happens. Suddenly, the same person who ignored you, who overlooked you, who didn't value you, starts realizing they could lose you. And nothing makes somebody pay attention more than the possibility of losing something they thought they could always count on. Valuing yourself means you stop putting discounts on your worth. It means you stop begging to be chosen and start choosing yourself. It means you stop settling for half love, half effort, half respect, and you demand the whole thing because you know you're worth it. When you set that standard, you no longer have to chase. The ones who truly see your value will rise to meet it, and the ones who don't will fall away, which is exactly what's supposed to happen. Because if somebody can walk away from you when you finally start loving yourself, then they were never meant to stay. Confidence and self-respect are what make this work. They're the ultimate attraction. Confidence doesn't mean you think you're better than everyone. It means you know you're enough just the way you are. It's the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you move through life without apologizing for who you are. People feel that energy. They can sense when you know your worth, and it makes them respect you before you even open your mouth. Self-respect is what keeps you from bending so far that you break. It's what tells you that you're not going to lower your standards just to keep someone around. You're not going to beg for the bare minimum. And you're not going to lose yourself for love. That kind of strength doesn't push people away. It pulls the right ones closer, because nothing is more attractive than someone who knows what they deserve and refuses to accept less. Now let's get real about something. Men are not drawn to what's always available. They're drawn to mystery. They're drawn to the thrill of pursuit, to the idea that they have to earn your time, your energy, your love. When you make yourself too available, when you answer every call on the first ring, when you drop everything to be there, you take the challenge away, and without the challenge, there's no value. But when you create a little distance, when you don't reveal every single thing about yourself right away, when you leave some mystery, that's what sparks his interest. That's what makes him want to chase you. Because suddenly he doesn't know if he's got you figured out. He doesn't know if he can take you for granted. And that uncertainty keeps him interested, keeps him coming back, keeps him trying. Being mysterious isn't about playing games or pretending to be something you're not. It's about not giving all of yourself away before someone has proven they deserve it. It's about keeping your independence, your identity, your life outside of the relationship alive. Because when you have your own world, your own passions, your own joy, you're not just interesting, you're irresistible. A man looks at that and says, I want to be part of her world, but I've got to work to earn that spot. And when he feels he has to work for it, he values it 10 times more. So when you stop chasing, when you walk with confidence, when you hold on to a little mystery, you flip the whole script. You become the one who's pursued instead of the one who's always pursuing. And that's how you shift from being overlooked to being desired, from being taken for granted to being valued. Life has a funny way of showing you that the harder you chase someone, the faster they seem to run. The moment you stop chasing and start valuing yourself, everything flips. When you're the one doing all the running, giving your energy, begging for time, always trying to prove your worth, the other person has no reason to meet you halfway. They take your effort for granted because you're always there. But when you finally step back, when you finally recognize your value and stop handing it out to people who don't deserve it, suddenly they notice your absence. Suddenly they realize they're about to lose something that should have never been taken lightly. That's when people start chasing you, because nothing makes someone see your worth faster than the risk of losing it. This all begins with confidence and self-respect. Confidence is the magnet, the silent force that draws people in without you having to say a word. It's not arrogance. It's simply walking through life knowing that you are enough, that you don't need validation from anyone to define your value. When you carry yourself with confidence, people feel it. They see it in the way you talk, the way you move, the way you decide what you will and won't accept. And self-respect is what protects that confidence. It keeps you from lowering your standards, from begging for attention, from accepting less than what you deserve. When you respect yourself enough to say, I'm not settling for crumbs, I'm worth the whole cake, you shift the dynamic in every relationship you're in. The right people will step up, the wrong ones will walk away, and both outcomes are blessing. Another thing you've got to understand is that men are not drawn to what's always available. They're drawn to mystery, to the challenge of pursuit. If you put yourself out there every time, answer every call before the first ring ends, drop everything just to be there, you take all the challenge out of it. And when there's no challenge, there's no excitement. Men value what they work for, what they have to earn. Mystery isn't about playing games. It's about not revealing every part of yourself before someone has proven they deserve it. It's about maintaining your independence, your individuality, and your own world outside of the relationship. When you keep that mystery alive, when you don't hand over every detail right away, you give him something to lean into, something to chase.